Hello, well, today is going to be all about these little things here. Digital Bird Focus Motor. It's been long awaited. It can come or be made in two sizes. One for the 20-inch long NEMA 14, round NEMA 14s, and one for the 12mm long NEMA 14. Now, which one you pick is really completely up to you. The parts on Thingiverse are for both the large and the small. Personally, I'd recommend for most lenses that the smaller 12mm motor is probably adequate for most people's purposes. If, however, you know that you have a large lens you want to focus or zoom with, and you know that the ring is quite stiff, then perhaps you should move up to the 20mm long motor. It's a slightly bulkier case in comparison with the 12, but it has more torque on it, basically. The electronics and the functionality are identical other than that. Okay, so one important thing to remember with this device and any other focus motor from any of the other manufacturers is that they require a manual focusing ring on the lens. So there's no point trying to get them to work with this lovely Sony G Master, which is a wired lens, which means that the focus is all electronic. Even though you have a manual focus ring on here, it has no stops on it. It just spins indefinitely. Now, the way these lenses work are the faster you turn that, the faster it will move across the focus plane. There is no fixed position anywhere on this. If I turn this, for example, to here, and then quickly go to here, if I bring it back and then slowly go over the same distance, the two focus points will be entirely different, which makes them impossible to program for one of these things. So what you need is either a cine lens, which is manual focus by default anyway, or a legacy lens like this one, which basically has fixed stops. Now, the beauty of these lenses is it doesn't matter how fast I turn that. If I turn it to a specific distance, that will be the same point of focus every time I turn it to that point on the ring. This is what you need to use one of these. Okay, no point trying with a wired lens. Got that cleared up. So, what other pieces of kit do you need? If you're using a legacy lens, then you can buy these straps, and they come with a gear on them, which is 0.8 modulus, which is an industry standard for these gears. Now, on the Digital Bird Focus Motor, this gear here is also 0.8 modulus to match that industry standard. You can get these either adjustable like this one for different lenses, or you can buy them specifically for the lens diameter that you're using as a ring without this annoying little handle sticking out here. It's completely up to you. So let's see how we can set this up in the system. Okay, so here we are with our Digital Bird system, the camera slider and the compact over-the-top pan tilt head. And the pan tilt head has on it a tube clamp, which is for this piece, short length of 50mm carbon fibre tube. Now in the focus motor itself, there's also a hole here, a clamp for the tube. So we can start off by just putting that tube through here. And then we just run that onto our head like so. And we'll not tighten it up just yet. Next we can bring our camera in and we'll just mount that as well. And we'll clamp that up there. And we can bring our focus motor over so that the gears connect between the two. How easily you can see that. Okay. And then we can just tighten both of these up completely. Right, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Except for the cable, of course. So in the side, you'll see an RJ45 port, and you'll come with the kit a length of cable, motor, and into the front of the pan tilt head, like so. Okay, so to set up some moves, I have here the controller, and we're going to use the Digital Bird new 6-key sequencer that's on here to set up maybe a 4-key move. So if I click on the top left for the sequencer, I can see that I have by default 3 keys set up. If I add another key, and let's say we'll set 4 keys. Click on key 1, I'm going to accept that where the camera is at the moment is at key 1. Accept that. Move to key 2. And now I should find I can move the slider and set the camera up to point somewhere different. And what we'll do is manually turn the focus wheel to where you find your focus. Accept that as K2. Click on K3. Shift the carriage perhaps back to here. Bring this down a little further. And change our focus perhaps. And then last but not least, we'll use K4. We'll move the camera right along to here. Bring the camera back up and back onto the level. We're pointing set up, and we'll move the focus. Can't remember which way I went the last time. We'll move the focus around this way, I think, and set that up as K4. Now I can press K1 to go back to the start, and the system will go all the way back to the start. Pressing any of the keys now that are green will take the slider and all the parts to that particular key. I don't want to change that key, so I just click on it once more to turn it green and hit play. And we can see that all the axis, including our slider, our focus motor, the slider, the pan tilt, everything is moving between the different keys we've allocated. Now we're on our way back to 3. And if you remember, 4 was back here somewhere. And all the time the focus is changing here on the front. And back to the start. Okay, so this is a little obstacle course I've devised to test the focus motor. So there's our focus motor already mounted on the gimbal, and it actually tests the whole system quite well. So on our Digital Bird Wi-Fi remote, I've got all 6 keyframes set up on the sequencer, and all I should need to do now is press play. Okay, so just a sneak preview to discuss what's still to come to the system. I've designed a balanced pan tilt head as well. Now this has exactly the same functionality as the over-the-top pan tilt head, except it uses much smaller motors. Now, its main benefit is that if you're using the pan tilt head on its own, for example, on the end of a boom arm, the problem with the over-the-top head is that the balance, when the camera moves over on here, changes dramatically as the camera goes over. That's not much good if you're needing a balance system for a pan tilt head. So this system here is completely balanced. So as the camera moves, you see it all moves around the same balance point, whether it's on the tilt axis or the pan axis. Its one disadvantage is it can't look straight down the way the over-the-top one can. But it's a project I decided to undertake for myself, and I'll produce a kit for that in due course. The other item, which has been talked about a lot but I haven't implemented yet, if I can just move everything out of the way enough to see it, is the new Digital Bird turntable. Now, the original turntable in the original video was just that. It was purely a turntable, and I always thought it was a bit of a waste to spend all that time making that thing and just to have it only be used as a turntable when it could be so much more. And it can work either as a turntable or it can work as a pan motor on the slider. As a turntable, it's in this mode. This plate is generally just the main plate. I can put on a larger plate here if I choose, or I can put on an even larger plate and it will turn on that basis. But also you'll be able to take that off and with the aid of a screw, take this off, turn it over, and I'll be back. We can also mount it on our slider, like so, and now it will function as a pan head. So if we just do a quick test on that, if we enter a point, what we'll do is turn it from here around to here, and now we can see that it also works as a pan head. Now, it has camera shutter on this side here, so as well, so as either as a turntable or as a pan head, it also has the ability to shoot. Time lapse. Okay, so that's it for now. Like and subscribe. The links to where you can order the kits from for the parts, if you want to go that way, will be underneath the video here. And I'll see you again shortly. Have fun.